Hi guys, here's a quick tutorial of how to set up white label for your account. So let's get started. Firstly, to access white label, you click this menu over here, and then you've got the new options, white label and team members. I'll mention team members a bit later, but first of all, let's get started with white label. So you've got this setup guide, which basically shows you everything you need to do to activate it. And you need to run through these one by one. So first of all, we need to add company details. That takes you to this screen. So you need to fill out your company details basically, but this area here is very important, the domain. So that's basically where you want to host your white labeled app. So whatever this is set to is the domain on which your app will live. So let's save that. Okay, and if we go back to white label, refresh. So now you've added company details, you can go through the rest of the steps. First and sort of main step really is the subdomains. So we need to add two different subdomains for white label. So there's the app domain, which is where you actually host the app itself and where your clients will sign into. And then the other is the form domain. So this basically replaces the default Endorsal address, which is forms.endorsal.io. So you put your own subdomain in there, and then your clients will have their forms hosted by default on your address rather than Endorsal. If they choose to, they can then set up their own custom form domains and change it to theirs. So let's just go for app and forms. And create the subdomains. So now we have a few CNAME records that we need to add to our hosting. For those that have done custom domains before through Endorsal, this is very similar to that. Basically, you need to add the first CNAME record, which always looks a little odd. It's this one here, which is basically to do with Amazon. They need to set up an SSL certificate for each domain in order for this to work. So by adding this record, they can validate that. And then once this record is added, the second and third records will appear, which will be linked to app and forms or whatever subdomains you've chosen. So let's add this one first, and I'll show you how we do that. Obviously, every host is different. For this example, I'm using Cloudflare, which I guess a lot of people will be familiar with. So you add record, make sure you always choose CNAME, and then you'll have the name part of the record, which links to Endorsal's name value here. So let's paste that in. And then we need the value part, which is this one. Let's paste that one in. TTL just leave as auto, and with Cloudflare you need to do that as DNS only. So we save that one. And now that's been added. A quick note at this stage, a lot of hosts have very similar ways of doing things, but some are quite different. Generally, if you're having any issues with this, just try slightly different versions of these values. So sometimes removing the underscore at the beginning helps on both, and then other times removing or adding even a period at the end will help. So if things aren't working, just try either of those options. So head back to white label. Sometimes this takes a little while to come through, but usually it happens fairly quick, and usually within a couple of hours. So let's come back to this once that has happened. Okay, so that one is now changed to active, and the second and third CNAME records have appeared. These will take approximately 15 minutes to set up on Endorsal's end, but in the meantime, if you add these two records, they themselves may take up to 24 hours to propagate, but quite often a lot less. So let's add those. So again, add record, choose CNAME, and then that's the target, DNS only, and save it. I'm going to do the same for the forms. That one. So forms, DNS only, and save. Okay, so those two records are both added, and again they may set up sooner, but it usually takes at least 2 or 3 hours, but quite often a lot longer. Once they've propagated and everything is set up, your app will basically be available at this address. Okay, well that's gone through instantly, which is amazing. So this is now hosted on your sort of own URL. It's not Endorsal based anymore. It's showing all the Endorsal brand name, but that's because we haven't set that up yet. But I'll show you that now. So you've got these tabs here to set up the other aspects. Required are themes and branding and email, as well as terms of service and GDPR. So those correspond to the tabs here. So theme, you've got a few options. If you want to change the actual name of the app itself, you can do that. So it will just replace the word Endorsal throughout the dashboard. You don't have to, it's totally optional. If you don't, it will just change Endorsal to the app or review software in different places. So let's just call this one My Awesome Software. Here you can add a few images. So we need the main logo, which will replace the Endorsal logo up here. Sorry, I need to click that. I'll replace the Endorsal logo up there, so let's upload one. It's just obviously an example I've done very quickly. You've got the dark background, and there's a light version that we need, and an icon to change fav icon. Okay, and then we move down further and we've got colours. So the main colour is basically this sort of purple colour you see throughout the dashboard. You change that to whatever you like. I'd advise going for something fairly dark because obviously all the text is light, so it'll need to have contrast with that. So if I just go here, got a few colours ready. And let's go for this accent, which will match the brand colour. Save that. So now, if we go back to here and refresh, you'll see it's changed. The branding has changed, the colours have all changed. So that's all set. I'm going to add a few more options to this later on, but for now that should suffice to most cases. So next is email. So we can set up our white labeled email address, so all the notifications of new testimonials and things like that will come from you rather than Endorsal. So let's just do this. News thing from my agency. So if you fill both of those out, you now get sent an automatic email from Amazon, which you need to click basically to verify your email address. So see if this has come through. Okay, here's the Amazon email. Click this link and it will just verify that on our end. Okay, good to go. So if we now refresh this, the pending here changes to verified, so email setup. So already we've ticked off 4 out of 5 of our items. The last required one is terms, so I'll show you that quickly. This is basically edits the cookie banner that you see at the bottom of the page. See down here, we've got that. So obviously that links to Endorsal at the moment. You need to replace that with a link to your terms. So whatever you want to write in there, we'll edit what's down here. I reuse cookies. There we go. So you can change that to whatever you like, and then we need a terms of service link and a privacy policy link. So once you've added all that, save it. Another thing here, we've got the help center and support. Fortunately, that can't be white labeled in Endorsal because it's run through Intercom. So you can either, if you use Intercom yourself, you can just add your app ID there, so it'll all switch over to yours. Otherwise, leave that blank, and then you can enter a link here to link to your help center or support center, whatever you have set up. In the future, I'm adding the ability to include JavaScript header code, so you'll be able to add your own support chat applications, anything like that really. So that's coming very soon, which will help a lot of people out. Okay, I'll come to add-ons shortly. All this is now complete, so if we refresh that, so white label setup is complete. We can turn it all on, so everything is set to go. So that's now turned on. Great, so the next step is to create client accounts, sub-accounts. So to do that, you need to have a property set up that you obviously wish to white label and allocate an account to. So here, for example, we've just got my agency. Let's just create a new property for a client. So client, client property, client.com, just obviously as an example. So now that property is set up, we can allocate a client to it. So you fill in the client details, their email address, and you have to select a property for them. So let's allocate them to that one. Soon you'll be able to select more than one property, as obviously clients can have multiple sites. So you can generate a password for them, and they'll basically get emailed link to log into your dashboard where they can then reset their password. So let's add that account. So white label has been turned on for that property, and they will have received an email. So let's go back to the email account. There we go. Obviously the whole email is white labeled. It's My Awesome Software, whereas that should say Endorsal. And here's your details. It's from the right person, and it even links to the correct place. So let's now try logging in as a client, and you'll see how that works. Here's the client's details, and let's log in. So we automatically take them to their account page so they can change their password, so that's good. So here's the white labeled version of the site now. Obviously it's got the branding, it's got the colours, everything's all there. You'll notice that the intercom chat box has disappeared at the bottom here, and basically they're good to go. They can do everything that you can on your plan, obviously apart from things like white label, so they've got basic access up here, but all the regular functionality is there. I've changed endo forms now to review forms because that could have been a bit of a giveaway to the brand, so that's all changed. And yeah, they can go through now and set everything up as if it was all your software basically branded to you. So that's easy enough to set up hopefully for most people. Just want to talk about the add-ons that I've got here. So we've got a usage, plans and billing add-on. This basically allows you to create bespoke plans for clients and allocate them to them. So without that, they effectively share your overall usage, and you can't control which features they have access to, so by default they have everything. So the good part with this is we can set up a plan for the client and limit certain features, and then you can obviously upsell other packages to them to unlock better features like FOMO, pop-ups and Wall of Love, things like that. Also coming soon, hopefully early next week now, is this billing section. So your clients will be able to add their own card details to their account, and you can automatically bill them through a Stripe account if you have one. So once you've got a Stripe account, you can put your details into your white label dashboard and effectively just charge clients monthly through that. Once all that's available, I'll be adding a new video to explain how that works. Obviously that's a very powerful feature because you can effectively let it run itself then. I'm also adding an ability where people can sign up directly through your white labeled version of the app. So at the moment you have to create the client a sub account for them. Once this new functionality arrives, you'll just be able to direct potential customers to a sign up page, and then when they sign up they'll automatically join a plan and have a free trial if you like. If not, they'll just start billing straight away. Again, when that all arrives, I'll put out another video to explain obviously how it all works. I'll just show you how this works now, because obviously it's quite a useful feature for a lot of people. You need to add a payment method, which I'll just do now. So the payment method has been added and that is now activated. You'll only get charged once you set a client up and set a plan up for them. And obviously if you have 10 clients one month and then 20 the next, it will scale with that. And obviously if you have less clients one month, it will also reflect that too. So once you've enabled that add-on, you get a couple of extra columns now here. So we've got plan and usage, and obviously billing is coming soon. So in order to set up a plan, you click this button here. You give it a name which the client can see in their dashboard. So let's just go for starter. You can choose exactly how many visitors they have a month, how many testimonial submissions, it's totally up to you. All of that comes out of your overall usage, so obviously you can't add more than your threshold is. And then here you can choose which features they have. So let's set this as quite a basic account and add that plan. So your plan has been created and now allocated to that client. So if we go back to the client login on your dashboard and refresh, so let's go to say Wall of Love for example, and they can't access it now, they need to upgrade in order to be able to use that. And then you can see up here they're on a plan, starter plan, and they can even click that to see what they get included. So obviously if they then want to unlock Wall of Love, they can contact you and you can upgrade their plan from here. So say that has happened, you can edit this plan and enable the Wall of Love, save it, and then they'll now be able to access it, as you can see. So that's very powerful, and once the billing part arrives, you can then obviously start charging for the plans, whatever fee you like. It's up to you. Set all that up in Endorsal, but it will link to your Stripe account. So yeah, more information on that when it arrives, and then I think I've covered most things. Oh, actually, I'll just quickly go back to here. A few people have asked, a bit of confusion about some areas they'll log into this dashboard but still be able to see Endorsal branding. That is because you can log in with your own account as well, but because you're not set up as a client, you will see the branding. But as soon as a property, excuse me, as soon as a property is set up for white label, let me just show you something here. Wrong button. As soon as a property is set up for white label, it has to be turned on. So you get a new white label tab here on the property itself. That has to be turned on for all Endorsal branding to be removed completely. If at some point you don't want to white label this property anymore, you can turn it off and then the branding will reappear. But for now, as soon as you set up a client for an account too, that is automatically turned on as well. So again, this is on the client's dashboard. They view their endo form. You'll see here, this is using the forms.myagency.reviews URL. That's the one that you set up on the subdomain settings. And as you can see, there's no Endorsal branding or trace of Endorsal anywhere there. Okay, and same applies to every aspect of the site really. So one last thing I want to talk about is team members. So if you head to this tab, team member accounts are obviously very different to client accounts. The idea here is that people that you set up as a team member work for your company, so they have access to your account based on what role that you assign them. So they'll be able to access all the properties that you can. But when you set them up, there are these different roles here which give them access to different features. So if you just want somebody to moderate testimonials, you can do that. If you want someone who has a bit more power to be able to change settings and set up client sub-accounts, then you can choose different roles there. So that's very separate to white label, but available to all accounts. Yeah, okay, well I think that's everything. So please let me know if you have any more issues setting up with white label. Otherwise, I think most things are covered in this video. Yeah, so please get in touch if you need anything. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.